Yeah, welcome back to our automatic island. This episode, I want to focus on getting the animals out of the way so that we can start to work on all the other resources. However, I had a thought, what if we changed this center island and we made it like a central hub? This would allow us to get all of the animals from this center island as well as all the animals from the surrounding islands, and then they're brought to this center island and stored where we are now. Because the way I'm looking at it is all of the animals on this center island, we can't have an individual conveyor belt for each animal. That just wouldn't make sense. But what we could do is completely layer this center island with conveyor belts, pushing everything down to the front. So that does mean sacrificing the resources that are on this center island, but all of these are available on the other islands anyway. And it's going to make the collection process of all the animals and the resources a hell of a lot easier. So then we set up a killing trap to kill every animal that comes through. But it feels almost criminal to have our very own volcano with no use at all. So I want to make this volcano our killing trap. This is going to be completely over the top and unneeded, but it's going to be brilliant. The only problem is it does eliminate some of the progress we have already made, but that's okay because I'm going to speed run through it all so you don't get bored with it. I've disabled the grass in the settings, which allows me to get the conveyor belts in just so much easier. I can just gridlock and put them in, but we are also going to need to upgrade our collection point because we're going to have way too many resources for this one chest. So I think we're going to start by moving our collection chest over to this side, and we're going to bump it up a floor, and here I'm going to build an ultimate collection point. Everything's going to be sorted. We're going to have a little base. It's going to be cool. Now we're not going to worry too much about all of the sorting yet. We're still just going to use the one chest, but we're going to direct it all up here instead. So I'm going to get to work on building this central hub and layering all these conveyor belts out. Now I want all the animals going up to the volcano, so I'm going to build a little start point here, and this is where they're all going to be fed to. Now the super annoying thing about conveyor belts is if I put the upwards conveyor belts in, I can't then put walls on both sides. How stupid is that? So I'm actually going to have to put the walls in first just to make this easier, which sucks, and I hope they fix that eventually because it's so annoying. So we'll put the first upward one in so we know exactly where it is, and then we're going to have to go through. But look, I can't put the walls in, but yet if I put the walls in first, then I'm more than welcome to put a conveyor belt in. How ridiculous is that? So unfortunately, we're going to have to do this all the way up, but with the power of editing, you guys won't have to endure all of this. Okay, so we are pretty much good with the ramp up to the volcano. So now we're just going to lead it in and create our little death trap here. So my plan is to use the lava instead. Now we are maybe a little bit off to the side here, more than I'd like to. So let's have them brought forward and then push them that way. We'll put double in to make sure they go. Yes. Perfect. They are absolutely going to run off this. That's why I've had to put walls all the way up, and I'm going to do it across as well because this is just going to be a nightmare otherwise. Now, I am probably going to have to go double these walls up because ones that will run around will actually catch over these little corners, and yeah, they're going to be everywhere. So let's wall this part off, and then we will also wall off double on the ramp up. So the ramps that we have going down on the other islands, we're actually going to take them away and just have them drop to the middle island. So let's double up these walls here so that they're not going to run off once they get up top. Oh, we don't want them there. Okay, perfect. So then what's going to happen is they're going to come up here, they're going to fall, boom, straight down there. Let me just pop a hell potion while I'm down there. Let's just get topped up a minute because it's dangerous near lava. So I think we need to test this. So let's start bringing some animals up, and then we will put the collection point in and we'll work out what's best because animals act very weird. So let's start ruling off this start point. Oh no, I'm going to go through so many walls and conveyor belts doing this. So we're going to go all the way up, and then I'm going to start to double up this, and then they won't be able to run off the edges. So that's going to be a hell of a lot easier. We'll even go higher if we need to, because I don't know what's going to happen when we get things like the golden pico. Right now I'm thinking sheeps and, you know, things like that. But we got a few other bigger animals on this map that we are also going to have to include into this trap. So that comes all the way up. I'm going to do that again up the other side. Some of you may have got motion sickness from that. That was horrible. So I'll just skip ahead. Okay, there we go. We got both sides doubled up. Nothing should be able to run over those edges. Might have to make some adjustments when we get some of the bigger animals coming up, but we'll take it as it comes. So now we have to feed all of these animals onto that conveyor belt. I'm really worried I got this too far in the middle, but we'll deal with it as it comes. Now this part's going to be super fun. Not only do I have to get all of the conveyor belts to layer the floor, but I also have to clear the resources that are going to be in the way on this island. So I think it's best to start from this conveyor belt here and work backwards. So we're going to have to create a tiny little drop at the start here just to get it level with this floor, because roughly we need it about this high. So that's probably good now. Now we can start to level this out, and this will be our start point for the rest of it. So as long as we line everything up with this first conveyor belt now, we should get a perfect line through. So I'm going to wall off this and bring everything into it, but this is going to be one hell of a long process, but it's going to be worth it. So things like this bush here, there's bushes everywhere, so we're just going to lose that one for the sake of making this center collection point perfect. We've got our first sacrifice, so we're going all the way up. The mono's chilling right now. We're going to follow him. We're going up as well. So the point of this test is to see roughly where they land, and of course where the loot rises up to, because that's where our collection point is going to be. So it falls down right there. Okay, we see them dying. Perfect. And then we should get the loot come up. Now if loot sits in lava for too long, it will just completely disappear. So that's why we're going to need a quick collection as soon as it comes up. So the loot comes up. There we go. It hits the top. Let's see how long it takes to disappear. Okay, it took about 3 or 4 seconds to disappear. That's absolutely fine, because we're just going to have that pushed out of that lava as soon as possible and led to our collection point. But so far, this works exactly how we want it to. But monos are also very small, so this could become a problem when we start to get some of those bigger animals to come up this track. But we'll continue bringing everything to this center point and we will find out. So I think I'm going to keep some of the resources that are around the outside, just because animals don't seem to spawn there. So I don't think it's really going to matter. And then of course we can have those resources collected as well, but all of the animals seem to be pretty centered, so I think as long as we get a good spread across the middle, I think we'll be all good. So we've got our complete center point done. I'm not going to get rid of these just yet unless they prove to be a problem, but having all of these clumped together is so good when it comes to automating them. So now that we've got the line that's going to push everything onto our kill trap, we now need to have everything pushed all the way down. Now the sun is setting, and depending on how much you follow the channel, you'll know I don't like to record during the night. So I'm going to take this opportunity to just completely smash this out, and I will see you guys in the morning. So I've just been putting the floor in, and a golden pico has spawned. I wonder if we can get it to go up our track so we can see how it works. So I'm definitely going to have to get a wall in for now, so that it actually does hit this back wall and go up our conveyor belt track. Come on, come on. No, he's going. We've got him. Don't get over. No way you get over that. Yeah, so we're definitely going to have to triple up them walls. But good to know that for now. Oh my god, this is so annoying. Please stop. Get out my face. You are driving me crazy. So this has taken way longer than I was expecting, but we are coming up towards the end, I think, now, before we start putting it to work. So for now, I've got this entire floor of what I think it needs covering. We will add to it as the animals spawn in. For example, we have some chickens around the outside there, but we're going to leave them be for a moment. For now, we're just going to get most of this working, because the moment something spawns in the center, it is now taken up our track. So we are getting closer and closer to having this fully functional. There goes the pig. Now, as you can see, they do occasionally block up like this, so they need to actually build up. but we're going to respawn everything in and you're going to see it all fully working. But for now, this is pretty covered. There goes our mono there comes in, there we go. Things are starting to spawn in now. The pigs seem to be the only one we may have a problem with, but once it's walled in, they will make their way up. Things are on their way, and we're going to have all the other animals brought from the other islands to drop into that center square, which can then be taken up our volcano killing trap. But for now, we're not going to worry about that. We are going to get this bit finished. We need to triple up these walls so nothing can get out like this golden pico here. It's going to be a little bit annoying, but we will get there. So I've doubled up the walls at the end here, so when everything's brought down, it shouldn't be able to climb that. And now we're just going to go up and do it as I've done it here, where we're just going to... That's a bit too high, even though we may need to do that actually. But for now, let me just get rid of that one a moment. We'll get rid of that. I actually want it here so that all of these gaps here are blocked up as well. Whoop, there we go. Okay, that's one side done. And we've got to do the other side. Now, I think this will work okay. The only thing I'm worried about is the animals being able to lip up on the edges. So maybe we'll put like a different material at the very top to stop anything from gripping all the way out. But for now, this looks crazy, and we've still got to do a downward version as well. Although we could do that a number of different ways. We'll see when we get to it. But for now, let's get the rest of these walls put in and get this spawn area completely covered. Oh, and then this side we go all the way around so that they fall off. Beautiful. Okay, now we do need to get the collection sorted out. Bringing the loot out may be difficult, but we'll figure it out. So I'll continue work on the spawn area down there when it hits nighttime. Look at these chickens just getting stuck on the edge. Come on. But for now, we've got a pretty good flow of animals coming up from that spawn area. So for now, I think we need to make our existing tracks drop into our spawn box over here. That will also allow us to bring some of the animals over, so it's a constant flow of animals. That will help combat all the spawn time. So this is actually pretty good. We've got this one coming up through the center here. I think we just take away this end and we create the dropping point over there. So if we take this one away, what we can now do is just continue going straight with this one until it comes to a decent point in our spawn box, for example right here, and we turn this part into a little spot where everything is going to be dropped onto. In fact, no, just to make that easier, we may as well just extend our current system. So let's take away this end rock here and add another row of conveyor belts in, which will allow for that drop off from that top conveyor belt. Okay, so we bring that across like so, and then we put another one in, and that should allow for that drop off. We could even add another row. Like I said, the resources on this first island, it doesn't really matter because we'd be better off getting more animals from the first island and resources from the other island. We are still going to get animals as well from the other islands, but there's so many resources spread across all the islands that we don't necessarily have to worry about every single rock that we have. But we have another row in here now. Realistically, this whole first island is probably going to be conveyor belts, but it really doesn't matter. And there we go. Okay, so now when everything comes off this conveyor belt, we might find the animals running off, but honestly, we're probably going to wall the whole thing off. So now, instead of having the systems where it goes down to this bottom conveyor belt, instead we just have them all lead to this center conveyor belt. This will then make it go from there all the way over to there. In fact, I'm actually going to bring it up one level so that it sits flush with that conveyor belt. As I can see over there, that one is going above a rock, so we want to keep it all on one level if we can. Now we do have a big problem, and that's going to be all of these conveyor belts, as they are going to be transporting animals, they technically have to be walled off, which is kind of painful, but we're going to deal with it. It will all be perfect in the long run. For example, I'm going to move this conveyor belt over one so that we can create a nice little cross junction at the top here. And we can do the same coming from this side and connect it to that system over that side, while also picking up the conveyor belts that I've already put down because I need to save on them. This takes a lot. So we got this side moved over and we got this side moved up, which works out perfect. Now, I've had to switch up this part down here a little bit because we're no longer going to use this lower level. We're just going to have everything brought up to up here. But this little cross section here is perfect. And now we just got to make everything connect to this center part. Sounds easy enough, right? Yes, we got some buffalo coming. Let's go. Hopefully they don't walk off. We've got some all the way over there. Oh, some have already fell down. Look at them go. This works perfect so far. Again, we are going to have to wall it off for those faster animals, but look at the flow of animals we've already got. It's working beautifully so far. Okay, now this is all starting to look great, but I can do a lot of this in my own time. We've got a good amount of animals coming up our killing trap right now, so let's go and work on the collection point. Once we have that figured out, then it is literally just feeding all the animals to that center point. But this is looking great so far. We've got all these animals falling in. There shouldn't be any alive down here. No, all dead. That lava is just too deep, which works perfect for us. Look at them just cooking down there. That's perfect. So now what we want is we want all of those resources brought to us. So I have absorbers and I have conveyor belts, and that's what we're going to make work. Look at all of these resources though. So if I actually bring an upward conveyor belt about here, let's just try this for a moment. If I put this here, let's put some glass walls behind it. In fact, just to make sure that we don't die here, let's get rid of those conveyor belts so we can stand this side. Now if we put some absorbers along here, we may be able to just solve our entire problem right there. So we put 3 along here. Let's bring these conveyor belts back in, which will push all the loot upwards. Get rid of those ones in there. Okay, now we're all clear. Hopefully no loot gets stuck. Let's put a little platform in here so we can start to see what gets stuck. Oh, did that go underneath? Oh, okay, we got some going underneath. How can we fix that? So we're going to need to bring these back a little bit. That's okay. We just get rid of these walls. We put new conveyor belts in. Just back one. This seems really far away. Rather than the conveyor belts, let's try a chest. So we can put a floor down to make our chest as far out as possible. Let's just try and put this kind of on the edge. And then we can place an absorber at the bottom of the chest on here. Whoop, as low as possible like this, because if that absorbs everything, then we could just have that shoot out onto a conveyor belt or however we're going to collect it. All right, so we got some of the loot dropping all the way over there. So what if we had a second chest to collect those ones up there as well? Let's see how that works out, because if this collects everything, that could be amazing. Okay, it seems to be working. I'm just going to put some ungridlocked walls on the front, just to make sure nothing goes underneath. So then I think we put a conveyor belt in kind of here, and we get all of the loot from these chests onto this conveyor belt, and we get it out of the volcano. So if we put ungridlocked conveyor belts at the back, then we could put droppers onto our chest and have them shot to that spot. We put 2 in like so. Now we bring out the droppers and we have these firing onto our conveyor belt. And we're just gonna put a whole bunch on here to make sure that that never gets backed up. And we'll do the same for this chest as well. So we're already getting a bunch of loot sent over. So now what we gotta do is make this gridlocked. That's actually really good right there, but I'm gonna have to glitch it in. And then we're going to have to glitch. Oh, no, we won't have to glitch that one in. All right, let's see how we get on with that. So now it shoots out, comes up, pulls off of the top part onto our gridlocked conveyor belt. And that now allows us to start working on getting it out. Oh my God, I'm actually going to die. I get topped up on everything. That was a little bit too close. So I think we're going to have to literally walk it back up with another conveyor belt track. But as long as we don't go over the point where our animals fall, then I think we'll be absolutely fine. Come out the dragon side, but that's okay. We can loop this back round, no problem. All right, and now we need to get this all the way back down to our collection point. All right, so that was an eventful night, but now what we have is a full conveyor belt track going all the way up. They then fall into our volcano, absorbed into the chests and fired onto the conveyor belt. Then as you can see, all of our loot will then make its way out of the volcano via our little kind of climbing system we've set up inside here. So you'll see they fall in. Oh, we got some getting stuck there. We're gonna have to go fix that. You can see that's no problem at all. That comes up, gets taken all the way up along our track here. Now, what I've decided to do is I was going to do conveyor belts all the way down as well. So it kind of goes up and then comes back down. What I decided to do instead was something a little bit different. I'm getting crazy lag right now. It will be all right. Don't worry. But now what I've decided to do is have a loot chute. So the loot will come along, it will then fall, and we will constantly have this little shower of loot just coming down. And once we get these spawns of these animals and everything else just going like crazy, this is going to be rapid. So then that will come along to essentially a system we're going to have set up here, similar to our gacha system where we have the sorter in the middle and then the 2 containers on either side. But for now, we've got our 1 chest collecting it all. That's great. And we can already see we've got a decent flow of everything. And the great thing is we can even just island hop to respawn everything. But for now, I think it's just going to be tidying these conveyor belts up. We do have to wall it all off, but I'm not going to do that just yet. Connecting all of these systems up, removing any conveyor belts that are no longer used, and overall tidying the thing up. But right now we have a deaf volcano. Now I really hope you enjoyed this episode of our automated island. Look at this shower of resources just coming down every so often. That is going to be incredible when we've got an entire map doing that. I'm going to make some serious progress on this tonight, just connecting up all these conveyor belts to our center system. I won't do any drastic changes without recording it, but connecting up conveyor belt lines isn't the most exciting thing in the world. Also, I would like to apologize for the delay between the first episode and the second episode. Just a lot of things happened. There was the whole Craftopia leaving Game Pass that we had to cover, and just a lot of things got in the way. But I promise these episodes will be more consistent going forward. Please do drop a like and subscribe. Remember to join the Discord. All the links are down below. But most importantly, enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace!